Okay, first thing we're going to note here is where the oil fill and dipstick are. And I always like to check the oil before we start. So this is the low, this is the high. You can see it's not too discolored, but you know, it's been in there for more than a year, and it's a little bit low anyway. So now we know that the car didn't come in without any oil in it or something like that. Kind of get an idea of what you have beforehand. So there's the fill. Make sure it's clean around it and keep it closed for now. Down below, look at where the existing oil filter is. So this is it here. We would clean this area off around here first so that the new oil filter doesn't get any debris on it. On this vehicle, there's no need to jack it up because there's lots of ground clearance. This is where the oil drain would be at. And we've blocked out the tire so that, you know, if anything fails, it doesn't roll back on you, since we're on a bit of an angle here. So first thing we'll do is we'll put our gloves on. Safety glasses will be more for when we're pouring the oil or handling it. I think right now it should be okay, but if there's any chance of anything falling in your face, safety glasses on. So the engine's completely been warmed up. You can check and see if the filter comes off by hand, and if not, this is an oil filter wrench. There's a couple different kinds, but they all work similar. Put it on, grab it firmly, and get it started here. Then the trick is to be quicker than that and take it off before it makes a mess. So here you can let it drain a little bit and then pull it off. Now, gloves are not only important to keep yourself clean, but they also keep you from getting burnt from the oil, because the oil's hot. You can let it cool down a little bit, but you want it to be able to come out nicely as well. So you don't want it to be too cold, especially if the temperature outside is really cold. It'll be too thick and you won't get a good drain. So let that just kind of drip out for a couple minutes. This is the new filter here. Once we're ready, we will make sure we take the new filter, fill this with oil, holding it obviously vertical, coat the actual ring with some oil so that this makes a nice smooth seal and it doesn't bind up. Should ensure there's no leak, and it's just hand tight. You don't use the wrench really to put it on unless it's in an awkward spot and you need the extra help, but it's not supposed to be over tight. It's supposed to be hand tight. Want to make sure no debris drops in. This is a super simple oil change. Sometimes they're very difficult to get to the filters, and oftentimes you have to jack the car up. Mark the date on the filter. So we'll put 7, 10, 22. Here's the actual rest of the oil. We've got our 13 mil or half-inch socket. going to want to come shooting out, so adjust the oil pan as necessary so that you don't think you're going to miss. Watch for hot parts like the exhaust. Watch for chunks coming out. Should be no chunks. Give it some time to drain. Now some oil pan plugs have reusable washers on them. Some have crush washers. This one is a crush washer and it's been crushed. So a replacement should be put on. I don't think I have one. So we're going to take a look and see what we have. So make sure the cap is open so that air can allow it to drain properly. Sometimes it'll drain a lot slower without that off. So I don't have a new sealing washer right now, so we're just going to put a little extra Teflon on it just to give it a little bit more. You want to always wrap it in the direction of the tightening so that it's not going to unravel it. You don't want to over tighten. You're counting on the seal to do the job, especially if the threads are aluminum. Make sure your funnel is clean. Look up the approximate capacity so you have an idea. This is about 5 quarts. So we'll stop at 4. We'll see where we're at. Okay. Once you got a clean oil, it's kind of hard to tell. You angle it and get it in the right light. We're at about just at the above the L. Really hard to see. Usually between the low and the high, it's a whole quart. It's not always like that.
What are you doing?
Hey, girl.
What's happening?
What do you mean what's happening?
Your camper.
I'm changing the oil in it. You want to see?
Okay.
See, I got a funnel. I'm pouring new clean oil in. I drained all the old oil out. So that's good enough to start it. It's almost at the top. So we'll do that. Start it, let it run, and then we'll shut it off again. Make sure we put our cap on. What am I doing? Well, after you put the oil in, you got to check it. Make sure that there's no leaks. Check it after you run it. Crazy. Now there's like no oil in it. Alright, that's it right there. So just to make sure, I'll run it one more time and check it one more time, but the level should be good now. See, this is why it's important. You have to wait for it to settle down to the bottom because it's actually now reading too high, or just about where it needs to be. So don't add too much too quick. Okay, so just take the old oil filter, drain some of this out of here, put it in a bag so that we can dispose of it. Oil pan. Let it all drain out and then mark it. Old oil.
Dada, I don't know, but you actually have 2 jobs.
How do you figure?
Well, because you have jobs making TV, and plus you're going to school.
Busy, eh?
Yeah, so you have 2 jobs, actually 3 jobs.
Okay, that's it. We put that with the recycling. We put this in the garbage, and we're good to go.
Okay.